Hello, callers. Welcome back to Viva Barca. Welcome to another interesting episode where we are going to be discussing on the latest stories, starting with Franck Kessie as Tottenham Hotspur are reportedly planning to launch a bid for the 25 million rated Barca star. We are going to discuss on that as we progress. Secondly, talking about Nico Gonzalez as Barca will receive 1 million euros. 11 million euros for the midfield starlet. We'll have a 15 million buyback option. We are also going to be discussing on that. So guys, as we get right into the stories in much detail, please do ensure to subscribe if you haven't. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. Franck Kessie is one of many Barca players facing an uncertain future at the Camp Nou. Fortunately for the club, they have not had too many difficulties finding suitors for the midfielder, who has been courted by Juventus among other clubs. The Italian giants have shown the desire to sign him on loan and with an option to sign him permanently at the end of next season. And even though there is said to be an agreement between the two clubs, Franck Kessie is believed to be keen on moving to the Premier League. With that in mind, it appears Tottenham are now threatening to enter the race to sign Franck Kessie this summer, according to Sport. The Premier League giants are currently in talks with Bayern for the sale of Harry Kane. Once they facilitate the sale, the club would have enough outlay to restructure the entire squad, which could include the addition of a midfielder, which is where Franck Kessie comes into the fray. Tottenham, who have already been linked with a move for Clement Lenglet, rate the Ivorian quite highly and want him as part of the new setup led by Ange Postecoglou. Juventus, for their part, are upping the ante in the pursuit of Franck Kessie and plan to hold a meeting with the player and his agent soon to discuss the matter. But if Tottenham enter into the picture and make an offer for a permanent transfer, it could appeal much more to both Barca and Kessie. After all, Juve are looking to sign him on a loan-to-buy operation, whereas Tottenham would potentially sign him on a permanent deal, meaning that an influx of cash right away for Barcelona. Either way, it appears a certain Franck Kessie, whose market value currently stands at 25 million euros, will be on his way out of Barca before the transfer window slams shut. So only his next destination remains to be determined. Of course, Franck Kessie has not yet made any firm decision about his next destination. Of course, we know Juve has been the most interested party so far, and if reports are to be believed that the player does not want to return to Serie A again after leaving there just last season from AC Milan and fancies a Premier League move, definitely you can start saying Tottenham will have a greater chance of signing him up. Of course, if this report is to be believed, Barca will be very happy because suitors are not lacking when it comes to Franck Kessie. That tells you how quality this guy is. You know, Franck Kessie is a good player. It's just the manager. Xavi does not rate him. Xavi does not value him. Other clubs out there in Europe value Franck Kessie. Franck Kessie will have game time in majority of the top clubs in Europe. But Barca, he had no chance. Xavi was adamant to the same starting 11 all the time last season with Pedri, Gavi, Busquets the whole season, and of course Franck Kessie had no chance, and that was a worrying factor. The player was frustrated, especially when in important parts of the game he was not even included. But I think we always saw Franck Kessie, especially when injuries of Pedri or maybe it's Busquets not into the squad. That is the only time that you see Franck Kessie having game time. And of course, you can imagine, as Barca have gone for two more midfielders so far this season, you will expect not to see Franck Kessie playing again next season. And for the betterment of his own career, he needs to leave, because if not, he will still continue to warm the bench even more than last season. So with these links coming, with several clubs showing interest in both the Premier League and the Serie A, definitely Franck Kessie will not lack where to go to. He won't lack where to go to. So it remains to be seen where he will decide, because earlier we got reports saying Juve are requesting the player to make a decision as soon as they can, because Barca and Juve have already come to an agreement, and of course they are hoping that he makes a decision to move to the Serie A giants. So it remains to be seen what Franck Kessie decides to do about his future. Then on to the next story of discussion, as Nico Gonzalez closes in on a transfer from Barca to FC Porto. Mundo Deportivo's Roger Tarello has shed light on the economics involving this operation. Nico's transfer to Porto has been in the works for some time now, and a general agreement was understood to be reached last week itself, but the two clubs were ironing out the final specifics of the operation, which now appears to have been dealt with. Nico, who spent last season away on loan at Valencia, was always bound for an exit as there was no space in Xavi's squad for the player. There was interest from Real Betis as well, but as soon as Porto came calling, a move to Portugal became the likeliest option due to their presence in Champions League. And as per the report, Barca will be receiving a transfer fee of 11 million for the sale of Nico to Porto, with the move set to be completed by tomorrow. The 21-year-old Masia graduate will be signing a 4-year contract until 2027 with the Portuguese Giants after agreeing to pay cuts proposed by his soon-to-be new club. Given that he is a homegrown player, a large part of his transfer fee can be chalked down as net profit, which will help Barca in their bid to achieve fair play. One of the key conditions for Barca to sanction the transfer was that they wish to retain some control over Nico's future by inserting a repurchase clause. So guys, with that we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time. Bye bye.